This is the Chug Life Podcast. This is a very special podcast episode here with my friends in Dream Alazia. And they are from Chicago, a awesome metalcore act, and I'm super excited to have them here on this awesome 420. Guys, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great, man.
So
doing good as well.
We have Zach, Brandon, and Matt here today, and we're unfortunately missing Scott for the moment. But one of the main things that we had started talking about a couple of seconds ago was the band's name. So let's just kick it off on that. Zach, could you start talking about how the band name was, kind of chosen?
So I'm gonna actually have Brandon answer that one because the name was decided before I actually joined the band. So
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm actually the oldest original member of the group. So it originally so I started this band with a buddy of mine that I went to college with. We were roommates my junior year, and after we graduated, we had the brilliant idea that we wanted to start a band. He was kind of like a newer vocalist at the time. I kind of got him into a bit heavier music, or this style of metal. By just pitching him bands that I really liked and whatnot. And he vibed with it a lot. So so we ended up had the idea to start a band. And we were kind of brainstorming. So in terms of the name, we were sitting there, we kind of, obviously we wanted something cool and something catchy. And his name's Calvin, by the way. One day he had sent me, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I found this word. It's Alasia, and we wanted to have a deeper meaning pretty much behind the entire concept of the band. And so Alasia essentially means that your fear and your inability to change. And so we wanted that, but we didn't want to just leave it as just Alasia. So Dream came into play with it. When I was sitting there, we were kind of bouncing off wordplay ideas with it and still trying to go around the central theme. And so we were going to say Alasia's Dream at first, and then I was like, that's a little weird sounding. But then we were just like, well, what about just Dream Alazia? And just kind of meaning that I guess centrally behind dreaming, the biggest thing is a big concept, especially in the album to wanting to, be the best version of yourself. And a lot of times that's hard because, change is hard, essentially. And so, Dream came into play with that, where it's just dreaming about the things that you want to do and your aspirations and who you want to be, and just kind of fit saying it like that. So then that's where we just kind of pieced it together with that. And then also Alasia was supposed to be, or is, I guess technically still supposed to be the character theme behind the concept of the album we released as well too. So yeah, just a lot of pieces around one big whole general idea, and then we still kind of play into that with our other stuff as well.
Dude, that rocks.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Man, that is incredibly deep.
Yeah, we both Calvin and I had, when we were in college, we had a lot of deep conversations and talks about life and such like that. So it kind of I guess it made it natural with us to make a big theme behind everything with it. So
I'm gonna definitely get ahead of myself a bit talking about albums now, but I guess in regards to the lyrical structure and the title names and all of that, was that also you?
Yes. So yeah, for in terms of the album that we released, because I had been working on it, Matt had just joined the band within the last 2 years. Zach's been in for, God, Zach, how long have you been in, dude? I've lost track. It's been quite a while.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I'm trying to dates, but COVID like put me through an entire like fucking,
Oh yeah, dude.
like wormhole with like time.
Sense of
But
time was just so fucked up
it
because of
was,
COVID.
yeah,
yeah, no, it was definitely, it was like during the height of COVID, when I actually joined or when I tried out.
yeah,
So
4 years ago.
was
Damn.
that like 2020,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
early 2020, like January or something? Because yeah, didn't you guys? Our first show was in January or February.
yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
Wait a
No,
minute. That's you guys played shows before you guys had released music? Am I understanding that right?
yes. Yes,
Wow.
we did. Yeah, the original lineup way back when the first show we actually played was 2000 and I want to say 2018. It was a benefit show for a friend of ours. Her name's Zemi. And yeah, it was a benefit show for her, and it was actually at Reggie's side stage. And I want to say it was 2018. I could be wrong. If it wasn't 2018, it was 2017, but I'm pretty sure 2018. And then yeah, we had been the original lineup. We had been like working on like song ideas, but we hadn't released anything yet. Until yeah, nothing came out until 2021.
Wow. Why the
Yeah.
gap?
So yeah, just the biggest thing is like switching. There was like member switches and whatnot. And you know how that goes. Like I went through a bunch of people, like trying out like new bassists, and then Zach's been the only other vocalist that's been in the band. Matt's been the third drummer.
Wow.
Trying
Third
to
time's
see.
the charm.
Yeah,
For real. Literally though.
Yeah. It's been perfect too. Like yeah, like I'd say like everybody currently in the band now is like the best version of this band. I would say, like, not throwing shade at anybody else previously, but yeah, just like you go through that, just got to find like the right group that everybody clicks and are all on the same page and has like the same drive and like goals for like what they want with the band and whatnot. So that's why there was a huge gap. So we played one show, that 2018 show, and then had to go through new members and whatnot. And then we had played that February show that Zach had mentioned. Sorry, that was my dog. Played that February show, and then COVID shut everything down, so we couldn't really do anything for a while with that again. And then finally dropped like actual material in 2021. So
Yeah, oh, man.
Yeah, it's been
that's
yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I don't want to bore you with all that.
Nah, dude, that's
there's a
beautiful,
long
man.
story
Just
with everything, but yeah.
you always want to be able to look back on those times of struggle with at least a little bit of admiration in yourself, and
Yeah.
I can kind of see that through you guys now, and that's really awesome because it sounds like it's been difficult to get to the point where you guys are now, and it's damn time and perfect in my opinion that you guys are in your zone and flourishing. And I love to see that and love to hear it, dude. And that's a type of shit that I want to have on here. So fuck yeah, man. Don't apologize for that shit. We love it. So coming from that, I mean, a lot of these themes that you have in here, like you have the spectrum, it's equal pride. You have migrants change, trumpets, his calling. I kind of wanted to talk about some of these themes that kind of touch on religious themes. Are you religious?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I don't. Yeah, like definitely, I would say more spiritual rather than like religious. Like me personally, I come from a lot of members of my family come from different like religious denominations and backgrounds. So I kind of obviously had that influence like throughout my life, but I wouldn't say like I practice like a specific religion per se now. Just more like I have like certain spiritual beliefs, which kind of stem from I don't know, the way that I look at it, it's like pretty universal. Like I feel like there's something in every religion that has like some sort of like important meaning or like benefit that you can apply to like your life, per se. And so I don't really like look at one as like, okay, this is like the correct answer, the right one to follow. I just kind of see something in everything.
It's guidance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least my view,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah, like I said, I know, and it's, we have very specific like concepts with the album and whatnot. But yeah, definitely more spiritual rather than like specifically religious overall.
Are these some themes that you think you'll continue to follow in future material?
Potentially. I mean, also too, like the way that I look at it, because we're currently working on some new stuff, and like I wrote the lyrics for like the album, and for this stuff, Zach's wrote all the lyrics. So I look at it as like everybody in this band, like we're all like an important piece and component to it. So I looked at the album as like this is my my side or my views of how I express myself. The next stuff that we have is definitely more like telling Zach's story, or like his side of everything and his beliefs and like how he feels about stuff that he has personally gone through in his life. And so I feel like everything as we add on and continue on, it'll just be like pieces of all of us. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So
Zach, do you have anything you want to add?
Honestly, I've never heard him say that before, so that was just really cool, and that actually makes me feel a lot better.
Zach, we can't pick you up too well right now. Are you in front of your mic?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, no, I was saying, I've actually never heard Brandon say that before, so that was actually really cool. I never thought of it that way with the new stuff. So it makes me feel just more comfortable with the new material, because it definitely is a quite different writing style, I would say. And yeah.
Well, I think one of the
Hope everyone
biggest
enjoys.
the differences really that you get when you have all of these new people coming into and out of the band is that you're adding to Brandon's experience. But when you have these new aspects added to the band, you're getting fresh experiences. You're getting new perspectives, and I think it's one of the most beautiful parts to having a group or having a band or an act, is that while the music in some cases may get stagnant, you always have a way to change that. You kind of like you personally, you always have ways to get better and progress. And man, I think that is awesome. I think that is some of the coolest parts to making music, and I hope that someday everybody can feel that. And I hope you guys continue kicking ass, dude. It sounds like you guys are getting into your own. It sounds like you guys are getting comfortable in your own skin, so to speak. And I gotta say, you guys are truly one of the most unique acts I have come across in metalcore. And not just for the fact of how heavy you guys are, but also how not heavy you can be. And I think that that's something that's incredibly special. And just seeing that the first album came from the mind of Brandon, I am just, man, excited beyond belief about what you guys can do as a group when you guys sit down and put this stuff together. And I'm sure it's going to be hell for you guys to work together and to get all of these awesome ideas and finally figure out, an X amount of songs to put out. But man, I'm excited to hear it. I hope it's not too painful to dwindle down the billions of ideas that you guys eventually have into a handful. Brandon, did you have any issues with that when you were creating the first album, having too many ideas?
No, no, I wouldn't say that. I guess the biggest thing, like back then, it was more just like what is our like group goals, like for what we're doing, like and like where we're headed, and that I feel like that was kind of the biggest thing where it's hard, if not everybody's on the same page and motivated to do the same thing, then it kind of, it makes it difficult in terms with that. But I mean, outside of that, I didn't know, once the like first like group had, left out, I didn't know like what like the future was going to be exactly like in terms of this band. So I kind of just like kept writing, like doing my thing, and then just figured like, well, if it's meant to happen, I'll eventually find the people that, are going to click well, and, we'll all be on the same page. And then, took a couple of years, but then that eventually happened, and like I said, too, with this version, with all of us that are in the group now, I feel like it's like the best version it can be. I personally feel like we all work really well together. I think, having Matt added in the band was like, how hard it is to find like really good drummers, nowadays.
I know how hard it is to find a drummer, period.
Yeah, drummer, period. And then finding like a really, really good drummer. Zach and I, like, we can kind of attest, with each other on that. Like once we had both, because Zach actually like knew Matt previously, and had, knew of his projects that he was, involved in. And we were sitting there, we were just like, damn, like he would be perfect, but like I know he's busy, and like, we don't want to throw something, more on his plate. But like we had our fingers crossed for sure. And when Zach pitched the idea to him, and then Matt, like confirmed that he was actually down, it was kind of like, I think we had like a good feeling there that like, okay, we're about to be in like a really good spot, because Matt over here is the fucking jack of all trades, dude. Like he's not just a fucking drummer. Like this dude has a good ear for writing, like guitar. Fucking he could sing. Like he knows how to piece together lyrics and like vocals. Like he has overall a really good ear, and so that kind of helped play into like the role, especially with this new stuff and how well we've been able to like come together to put things together for it. So. Yeah, I got to gas you up a little bit, Matt, because you're a fucking beast, dude.
Wait, so what's
Thanks,
the
dude.
progression looking like on this new stuff? Sounds like you're getting pretty close to being done.
Yeah, we are just about there. So
I'm actually rendering drums as we speak, just because it's just watching the computer do work.
Yeah, we're I think we got vocals done. I'm just throwing some like layering vocal stuff on there. I think we're gonna probably get together tomorrow, finish like that, and then then we're dipping we tracked everything with Matt in terms of like raw like guitar, and then of course Matt's drums and all that stuff, and then he's done some like production, like the background synth stuff and all that. So we did all that with Matt, and then we're gonna send that over to Scott for like final mixing and mastering and getting all the tones and stuff together. So right about there. Not trying to give out too much, but you may get something here in the fall. May or may not. We'll just have to see. So
oh shit!
Guys, so yeah.
All right. That's pretty tasty teasers. Not gonna lie. Maybe we can do some listening to that sometime. That sounds pretty sweet, dude.
Absolutely, yeah. We think people are gonna like it. We've been demoing one of the new songs. We've been playing it live for our last couple shows, and it's got some like good responses. So we're pretty excited for it.
Hell yeah! That rocks.
Yeah, the new stuff is Brandon wrote like all the guitars and mainly the I guess pretty much all the melodic ideas there he wrote. I did kind of follow a roadmap of simple drums that he wrote when he was demoing them, and I kind of just spliced in my own stuff while keeping the general vibe the same, I think, in most areas. But it was fun to like kind of suggest to Brandon, like, can we add this here, because I've been learning to program synths, and kind of I like that, like almost like cinematic kind of like Fit for a King. I'm trying to think of who else does it. Like Darko does weird stuff like that too. Alpha Wolf kind of has that thing going, and I think
I get what is it, like the higher pitch, like the not scratch sounds, but kind of like
I mean, there is some stuff like that. Like we were sometimes we
that shit
were
rocks, dude.
sometimes we were a little lit while writing, and we'd be like, we're just gonna throw this thal note in the middle of here.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
we got like little bells and whistles of everything, and I think it's a cool. You know, everyone else can perceive it differently how they want, but like from someone who was like listening to it brand new when Brandon was first showing me and the guys to like finishing it, I think it's kind of just like a new metalcore kind of thing going on.
Hell yeah, man. We need people to reinvent the current status quo, dude, because I'm not going to lie, I could use some help. All right. Metalcore as a whole it's pretty stagnant, in my opinion. Like, you have a few standouts, but man, those motherfuckers need help. Deathcore's doing great, all right? Don't get me wrong. Heavy is doing great. But metalcore as a whole, I believe currently just, man, it's really struggling. So that gives me hope. I hope you guys can resuscitate it.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify really quickly. I meant like not like new metalcores in like two words, like the genre new metal mixed with core. So I guess what I was
that fucking
saying.
rocks.
That
sounds interesting.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, and I tried to do that with the album, but a lot of those songs were, you know, written like so damn long ago. But yeah, it's always been like a theme to like, you know, I like a bunch of different genres of, you know, metal. I know, you know, Zach does and Matt does. So we try and like blend, you know, like a few different like styles within that genre, to just make it interesting, you know, so you're not just like exactly hearing like, you know, the same stuff that you've like heard before. I mean, obviously, you know, at a certain point, like some stuff is like, okay, yes, that has been done, but you know, trying to throw like our own flavor on it. I feel like, you
That's
know,
what
try
makes
and
it
keep
special,
it
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know. I think in a lot of ways, sure, everything that we do has been done before, but I think the specialty really is that it's you doing it, and it's, you know, you guys doing it. So I mean, you know, it's kind of like the current talk with like, is Pantera as it stands a tribute band? Well, some people can view it as that, but they have the name, they have members that were with the original players, and they play the original music. So if you want to focus on who the people are, sure, but some people literally just focus on the sound and just focus on the headbanging. You know, they're not really thinking of it that deep. I don't really know why I interjected that, but I just thought it was interesting.
No, it's true though. Yeah, it depends on like, yeah, the thought process when going into like the writing of it. You know, it's just how much do you want to do? What are you going for? You know, what sounds are you trying to like reproduce? You know, etc. So,
have you guys had any issues with kind of like running into a sequence in one of your songs and being like, oh, this is a little too similar, or that you kind of want to make it more bland, or kind of make it more of the status quo?
I think for me personally, it's sometimes I don't even know. Like there is like a certain immediate response of whether I like or dislike something, but like I truly feel like, me personally, I have to listen to it like 20 times before I'm just like, I kind of get like a more in-depth like feel of whether I dislike it or like it.
Your poor ears, man. Just sitting
I
there
do
with
it over
these...
like the course of like a week or two. You know?
Good. I was imagining your ears being red from sitting there with your headphones for hours.
Yeah, no, screw that. I take like a day or two break and come back to it, because like is it giving me energy? Is the energy there? Is it something like, it's kind of like what I do for like mixing as well personally. Like if something's bothering me multiple times in a row, I'm just like, okay, I might need to address that or change that, or suggest if it's not like my part, you know.
Yeah, that's also hard too, because like you'll sit there and it's like, you know, you'll listen to it one day or one time, and then like you'll totally have a different feel of it the more you digest it later. Um, for my aspect with like writing this stuff, or the guitars for the new stuff, it's like how I thought they sounded like initially when I was doing it compared to like what it ended up being after getting vocals on it, Zach's stuff, and then getting Matt's stuff on there too. It's like a totally different like feel, like some of the stuff, like I personally was like, damn, I don't know how this is going to sound or this is going to come out. Like, I know I said that to Matt too. I was like, when we were going like song by song, there was one song that we'll have out. It's called Labyrinth. I had no clue like if it was going to end up or how like I would feel about it afterwards, and then after Matt did his sing and then Zach did his sing on it, it's like I feel like it's probably all of like one of our favorite songs, and it's like it's just yeah, it's just so much different than you like think it's going to end up being with the final product, and that's another hard part of like the writing process, is like also giving stuff like a chance a little bit, but also too, like Matt said, like if you're not feeling it after a couple rounds of like digesting it, then that's when you can bring in new ideas or like kind of mold it differently from there, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Yeah, it sounds
sometimes it's sorry.
No, Matt, go ahead.
I was just going to say really quickly, sometimes it's even just as simple as like, I don't like this effects chain I got going on here, this guitar tone, like it might not even be. So it's just like, there's a lot of things to consider. So I feel like it's like just coming back to the mix and making subtle changes and re-rendering it.
I feel like that's definitely important with any ideas. You necessarily
don't want to be too hasty.
Yeah, you don't want to scrap the whole shit to begin with. You kind of, okay, well, let's see if I can make this better. Maybe the take was bad, maybe the mic was bad, maybe the cable was bad, or maybe the effects is bad. Let's try and change the changeables before we just delete the whole fucking file.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
And we're not that big. We're not at a position where we're just cranking out so much shit that we can like scrap whatever, like there's some people that are writing machines and bands that like do that, but I feel like we all like try, and everything that we come up with and all the ideas, we try and make it work or make it sound as best as we can,
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. You got to recycle those riffs, bro.
Yeah.
So
it's in a different key.
How long?
Yeah, different key. As long as it doesn't sound like, the same song over again, something like that.
Yeah.
How long did it take you guys to become show ready? Because I know that you guys had that moment of 2 years.
Did you laugh, Zach? Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had 3 weeks to be show ready.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Depends on which version of Dream Alazia you're referring to at that. With Matt, it took so before Matt joined the band, not gonna name names or the member, but it took fucking a few years, which it should not have taken a few years to like get show ready. And it was kind of frustrating, but like I said, another great thing about Matt, like once he joined, like we knew he was going to be on top of it and like legit and ready to go with everything. So Matt, I think it was like a couple months and you were like ready to go.
Yeah. I think it took me probably took me 2.5 months, honestly, though, just because I was also probably doing Vine stuff and the end of Capital Vice's arc stuff.
Wow. So 2 years.
Yeah, so a couple of months like to get where we're at now, and then even with like adding this new song in, we'll give it at least like I feel like we gave it about like 2 months or so before we started playing it live. We just all wanted to make sure that we were comfortable and confident with like doing it before we demoed it out. So just like a couple months time, I would say.
Wait, so what was this 2 years for then that you had mentioned? How How does somebody take 2 years to get show ready? I'm so.
Mike, that's a great question, dude. That is.
Wait, was this
Oh
man
gosh.
like, was he in like freaking US aid or something, like in the Peace Corps or something? Like,
No, not at all. No.
bro, like,
Yeah.
In his mind.
I'm.
Yeah.
Oh
He
man,
was a. Yeah, I don't even want to get into it honestly, but yeah,
it's
it was
hilarious, dude.
a ridiculous amount of time that should not have happened,
Because,
and then
dude,
even after that there was just problems still, so.
like you guys had material out, right? Like I'm not
Um
tripping on that.
I'm trying to think. This was like right before. Let me think. Like right before, because like yeah, when he was in the band, we were playing shows before the material was out, and then we were playing shows after it had been out too. But like leading up, yeah, it was like a whole like 2 year thing before we got like the okay from him that he was like ready to start playing shows, and so we kind of wasted a lot of time, honestly.
Dude, that's
So that,
rough.
you talk about that whole gap, that was also part of like that wide gap that of like downtime where we, could have been doing stuff.
Then you guys come out freaking swinging. How many got? Do
Yeah.
you know by chance around how many shows you've played since then?
uh uh
Mm.
and I'd have to look back at flyers, but
A lot, I'm
yeah,
assuming.
we played quite a few. Yeah, we've yeah, just kind of like, local stuff, and then we had some like cool opportunities, like we got to play with Monuments last October, which was like mind-blowing dream and experience that we even got to do that.
That rocks, dude.
Yeah, so we're trying to just work our way up with there. Like obviously, we have a lot of friends, throughout the music scene that we love playing with and seeing, but also trying to, we're at the point now where we're just like trying to take our chances with like bigger shows that come through, just seeing if they have any local opening slots. Like I can't even count how many shows we've like reached out to promoters about, like trying to get on like bigger bills. But that's kind of hit or miss. Like it's never like a guarantee. It all depends on like what the touring managers want, or like what they'll allow for,
Do you have
when they
any
come.
advice for people that are looking to do that or attempting to?
Yeah, fucking timing is key. Yeah, so we all kind of, we follow a lot of our favorite bands and whatnot. Me personally, I will kind of like not like stalk, but like, I'll see like, okay, this band announced that they're doing a tour. Once they announce it, I look on their, dates and like the calendar and see like, okay, where are they playing? When are they playing? And then it's just like, because I feel like a lot of times, and we're not the only ones that do this, but it's like a first come, first serve thing. I feel like if you're going to get a locals, opening slot, so you just have to, as soon as a band announces that they're either coming to your city or that they announce a tour, check the dates, see where they're playing, figure out the venue, and then from there just figure out, okay, who's putting on the show. So is it like Kickstand Productions, is it Empire, or is it happening at Bottom Lounge, and you hit up Kevin Singleton or WC. Shout out WC, by the way, because Chris has been hooking us up with a lot of awesome stuff,
For
and they've
real.
been, they've treated us very well, especially with like good shows, and even putting on shows. So yeah, you just gotta just try and be the first person to send that email pretty much if there's an opening spot, and just like reach out, just inquire if like, okay, hey, we are, blah blah blah, just curious if you guys are accepting any locals, and then they'll get back to you if they are accepting locals. Great, you could pitch your name or whatever, project you're in, and then if they're not, then appreciate your time, and then just kind of see what happens, after that, or if anybody else, comes through your city. So
And what does it look like when you do get on one of these shows?
yeah, so they'll either tell us, if we got the spot, they pretty much give us the information like, yep, this is when you guys will play, like here's load in time, send us your logo so we could put it on the flyer. And then they give us like the advanced information from there about, like I said, load in, what time you guys are going to play, all that stuff. Like the general like pre-gig information that you would get.
And what's the post gig look like after the show?
Post gig, I mean, pretty standard. Like we all usually, we try and remain, keep ourselves professional. So we at least try and figure out if the person that did put us on the show is there. Do like a face-to-face introduction, and like a thank you at the end of it. If you're lucky enough, like you'll get like a guaranteed pay. Usually like places have been pretty good about that. Doesn't always happen though. It depends on the show, but I think we pretty much have gotten paid for every show that we've played, which has been awesome. Cause like, I remember like back in the day, like that wasn't something that always happened. So it's like, it's been really cool that, like venues and promoters are doing that. Cause it really helps us out. You know what I mean? Like it's not cheap, doing music stuff. It's not,
Shit, ask Matt.
it's not it's not a very profitable, like career or a hobby to have, depending on your level, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Matt, just out of curiosity, how much did your kit cost?
A drum kit?
Yeah. Top to bottom. Because that shit is fucking sweet, dude.
have you seen new raps on it too? Beautiful.
Bro, oh my God.
The shells are like 1,100. The kick drum pedal is like 1,100. And then like stands is like another 600. And then the cymbals, all of them together, that's probably like 1,800. So I don't like a lot.
That's months rent right
And
there.
we're not talking
like-
about his e-kit yet, by the way.
It's like $4,500 for everything, maybe more. Yeah.
Matt, you still running that e-kit you got?
Yeah, it's in upstairs, the loft in my apartment. That's where I play that guy.
Dude, those things are so cool, man. Is it easier to play those than your regular drum, or is it harder?
I would say it's just different.
Obviously,
I like
you can't
the kick
smash
head.
it.
The kick, you can. I mean,
Really?
you can hit them pretty hard. Like I don't really hold back on the snare, and it holds up. I like the kick pad on that thing because it's like pretty. I don't know. It just when you have it on a good surface, I play it on like carpet, so it kind of wobbles a little bit. It's not the most ideal, but I make do with it. I can play with it still on there. But I don't know. The E-Kit kick drum is really nice. It's just very accurate and there's like no play. Some of the other ways to like trigger your kick are a little bit harder to set up. And other than that, like the E-Kit, the mesh heads are like way more bouncy. So I could just sit there and do stuff that like would not sound as good on a real kit because you'd have to be hitting way harder.
Wow. I mean, is there any issues you have with translation, like bringing that over from what you did on an e-kit to doing it on the actual kit?
No, not really, because I feel like after, I've played for like over a decade and stuff, I've gotten kind of out of the muscle memory of doing like the same fills on like the same surfaces. Like I can basically do rudiments on like, I try to train myself to do the same sticking combinations, but change up the surface that I'm hitting on. And that's been a decent amount of practice that I've tried to have, is just do rudiments and then throw them around the kit. So that way I'm not just like only used to playing it on the snare or only on the toms. And that's just a annoying thing that drummers have to do to like write funky stuff. I don't know. Drums is, I'm good at it, but it's still fucking hard. Sometimes I want to quit.
I can't tell you
Don't
how many
quit,
musicians I've heard say that,
Yeah,
bro. Just like very adept very experienced musicians be like crying. Sometimes I just want to throw this shit away, man. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you just wrote the nastiest song of your life and you're bitching because the guitar tone is a little fucking off. Stop it. Just release it already. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't like to get caught up in like that small of like things, but like I feel like between everybody being that conscious about their own instrument and craft, that like it just ends up always being like a, oh man, do we need to retract this kind of thing.
I definitely
Not
think
that everyone does that, but it can turn into that.
I think it's normal, you know.
We don't do that.
I would say it's normal for you to have second thoughts about anything that you do. And that's also just me being personal, just from my personal experience. I think it's normal for you to have second thoughts. And I think it's even more normal for you to try and revisit why you had those second thoughts or why you acted the way you did. So, anyhow, moving past my therapy lesson real quick. So, we talked about a song called Labyrinth, right, Brandon? Is that what it was called?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
One of the songs that'll be on the EP.
Okay. And you mentioned that this EP may or may not be coming out in the summer. Is that correct?
Not this summer, but our goal is to start dropping some stuff in the fall.
All right, guys, I tried.
So I will say that this summer we are shooting a music video. We just got a date booked. So that'll be for a totally separate song. But yeah, this summer we will be putting together like those last bits of like big release stuff. Yeah, we'll be rolling on that this summer. So
hell yeah. So we didn't really talk too much about Scott coming into the band, but I did want to touch on that a little bit. So how did Scott ended up coming into the band?
So Scott was the one that I tracked like the entire album, recorded everything with him. He mixed, mastered, did production stuff. He also did some writing stuff on it as well too. So Scott actually was the person that the original lineup way back when we had heard about Scott and went to him to track everything. We went through like a first round tracking process, I would say, and ended up like I said, after like the first group had left, I ended up just like going back to him and saying like, hey, I'm just gonna like retrack this stuff like myself. Like I kind of remolded some ideas with everything. So it was really for like the whole album process. It was really pretty much like him and I working on all of it. And then at that point, when I was like, you know what, I really want to actually like take this stuff to the live stage again. I asked him, I knew he was in, other projects and I knew he had, played guitar and bass and whatnot. I pitched the idea to him about like being like a fill-in for bass once I found like all the other members and whatnot. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that like spawned. And then I ended up actually, we kind of both like asked each other to be in each other's bands, which was kind of funny. So around that time, like he asked me to join like La Peste. And then, yeah, with him on bass for Dream. So that's kind of like how that happened. So yeah, so he's been there from like the beginning pretty much. Even like I said, with the original group that was there. So he's been around for like a bit, or at least involved with it, from the beginning of the entire like tracking and music process. So
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. As we finish up, do you guys have anything that you want to add?
I'll let you and Matt and Zach go first.
Zach?
Nothing that I could think of, man. To be honest with you, I think you guys hit all
Matt?
key points.
I I just want to say that we're excited for this new stuff, and we promise that it's some heat. If you like to two-step or get jiggy with it, no, it'll be fun. It'll be cool. I'm excited to get this done, and just so that way we can play it for everyone.
We like getting jiggy with it over here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, get jiggy with it. Two-step, parkour dance, shake your ass, whatever it makes you feel. You can do it all.
Crowd killer nursing home.
Yeah. Yeah, just want to do just a couple things. So we got, because I almost forgot to do it last time, Mike with our Errors podcast. We got Chicago Pride Metal Fest coming up this summer, June 7th and June 8th. Almost done announcing all the bands, but pretty big lineup. And thank you, Mike, for being a sponsor for us with that. Okay. Means so much to us, and it's been helping us out a lot, and getting the responses from everybody, being excited about it, and all the bands involved with it. Show wise coming up, we got Gent Fest next Saturday at Beat Kitchen. If you want to come get genty with everybody, we got shout out to Tanzan for putting that together and having us on this year. To be Tanzan. Matt's going to have to play a double set that night, which would be fun for him. He got Bind on the bill. Vapid Soul, Dead Awake is on it. These are our boys. And then a newer band that I actually just heard about recently and started seeing around the scene, Scytherism.
You'll like them.
Who?
Yeah, I've listened to their music. They're pretty badass. So they kind of, if you like progressive deathcore like that, there'll be some guys that you would enjoy listening to. So
What band?
Scytherism.
Scytherism. Dude, that's
sorry.
Sean's band with dude, they fucking rock. Burned at the Stake.
Yeah,
my god.
Yeah, I haven't seen them live yet. I've just listened to their music that they've released. I'm pretty sure they just dropped an EP, which it looks like it's supposed to be like a part 1 and part 2 thing.
Dude, Sean is unreal. I'm about to have Dark Surface. Yeah, that's his other band on from here. He's from Springfield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that band specifically, that's going to be a Chicago-based band because I think it's 3 out of the 5 members are in Chicago or some shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They rock, dude.
I'm excited. There's so many, shout out to all our friends. I wish I wrote down a whole list to shout people out, but you guys know who you are. Everybody that we played with, all of our friends who are in other bands and multiple projects, because we're all just a bunch of whores out here playing in a bunch of different things all at once. But keep your eyes peeled. I think the Chicago scene is doing really well with bands.
True shit.
A lot of really good talent, really good people. And it's just been, it's great seeing all that, blossom and everybody come together and want to be involved with each other and whatnot. So the local scene is blooming. So you guys, definitely put attention towards the local scene, I would say, just as much as you do as your favorite touring acts, because there's a lot of good talent. So
facts. Yeah, I mean, specifically Chicago, it's nuts, man. I mean,
there's so many bands here too, a lot.
Yeah, Illinois has an unreal amount of local talent, and which is why I can't stand bands like fucking Trapped fucking shitting on before the fire dies or other acts in the area. I'm like, dude, these guys are way more fucking talented than you'll ever be. I just want you to know that. And funny story, I got asked to work a Trap show, and obviously I was like, fuck no. But the guy who had asked me to work it was surprised And I was like, my guy, do you not know anything about what he has done with the local bands here? Like, if this were any other place and I were literally any other person in any other place that were not as intact with my local scene as I were, I wouldn't give a shit. All right, money is money. But they shat on some of my homies, and I was like, y'all got me fucked up. If you think I'm gonna stage tech for this piece of shit for anything less than 5 times my normal rate,
Yeah.
got me fucked up, bro. Oh
Problem,
God,
it sounds like with them, like, yeah,
dude.
I almost I don't even know anymore if it's like what's real or not with that band, because it's just so fucking out of pocket, like the stuff I've been seeing, and I'm just like, half the time I'm like, is this a joke? Like, what is going on? But like, yeah,
like I can understand rage baiting. Don't get me wrong. Like you can definitely make a lot of money on like Facebook and Twitter and shit by rage baiting, by literally just posting the most outrageous shit and getting clicks and comments and shit. I understand that. But when you're a band, like, dog, you know, just pissing off 50% of the general populace on any given day in any state that you're going to be playing like the next week or 2 weeks is not a good idea. I'm just going to say that, you know, not a good idea to piss off the locals that may be playing for you a couple of weeks from now. I don't get it. But,
yeah,
you know, I'm not Chris Taylor Brown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got offered to play a trap show, and we were like, nah.
Dude, it's a rite of passage in Illinois. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if you haven't been asked to play a trap show, you're either way too heavy or way too popular.
Yeah, I was like, are you even a local band if you have not been asked to play the trap?
Bro, it's a rite of passage to be offered it and decline it. It's just, and then you don't talk about it ever again. This is a rarity.
Like,
It's a club. It's a literal club of non-spoken people that have been offered to play or to work with them. But you just decline it and you just put it in your back pocket and that's it. You put it in a hole, bury it,
and never return.
That's it, bro.
That was the first time I've actually thought about
exactly, dude. Like, I shit you not, bro. It's not even like the excitement of a show offer. Like, that's the worst part. You don't even get the excitement of your normal show offer. You get it and you read it and you're like, oh. And then you text back, and then you send, and then you delete the message, and you're just like, all right. And it's not even like anything happened. It's so horrible for you as a person, all right? Because, 1, you don't want to be attached to this shit. But 2, you don't even get the excitement of telling your friends and being like, hey, I got offered to play a trap show.
Yeah, not really a flex anymore.
Oh
it's
man,
not a flex at all. Like,
dude.
Yeah,
it doesn't help because like my roommate, he always has this meme. He does. He's like, "Back off, I'll suck you off," and I'm just like, every time, dude. And so I'm just never the one to bring up Trapped or have like. It just always happens. Like, he'll just put the meme in the chat. And then one day, I get this fucking text, and I'm just like, you brought this on me.
He put it in the universe.
You put it into the fucking universe, and now I have to deal with this.
Yes, that's funny how life works, you know?
Oh, man. Sometimes I wonder if I blacklisted myself for not working for Trapped. I don't know.
No, you're doing great, Mike. You're doing plenty great.
Nobody gives that much of a shit.
You know,
about
he's
them
apparently that's like his goal apparently when it comes to people that have declined to work with them, and I find it just amazing. I've dealt with some folks in bands that have done that type of shit, and I've just been like, okay. You know, that you're not really gonna hurt my feelings. You're not really gonna do anything. All right, this is real life, buddy. I'm sorry. You know, unless you can, you know, sick a lawyer on me, and I don't really give a shit. But even then, I have my own lawyer too. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep, there's that.
God, we love some trap talk at the end of our interview. Guys, thank you guys for coming on. And this has been an incredibly special day for us here because it is 420. And not only is it 420, but it is also a day that you get to learn all about Dream Alazia. And
Appreciate you so much, Mike.
you guys should go and check out the links down in the description. Go and follow the band. Go and listen to the music. And if you haven't, go and tell Brandon he's beautiful. You guys have a great one. Thank you guys for listening.